Armin Keller sat alone in his tiny student studio in Stuttgart, leaning over the glow of his laptop as the rain tapped softly against the window. It was 1:58 a.m., far too late for someone with an early morning robotics lab, but sleep had become a stranger to him these days. His textbooks lay open and untouched beside him. His mind drifted somewhere else entirely. At 23, Armin had never dated anyone seriously. Not because he wasn't attractive. He had warm hazel eyes and unruly dark blonde hair, but because he was calm, introverted, and painfully awkward around women. Conversations that seemed effortless for others felt like landmines for him. His friends often teased him about being married to engineering. His mother, Gabrielle Keller, called him every Saturday evening. "You need to enjoy life too, Armin," she would say. "I know, Mama," he always lied. Tonight, instead of working on his assignment, Armin found himself scrolling through Globehearts, a site that connected students internationally. He never thought he'd actually send a message. He mostly browsed out of curiosity, until he saw a profile that made his breath pause. Aisha Varma, 21, Pune, India. Her profile photo was simple, no filters, no heavy makeup. A soft smile, long dark hair tied loosely, and thoughtful eyes that held a hint of quiet exhaustion. She stood in front of what looked like a modest terrace garden. But what struck him was her short bio. Computer engineering student. Traditional family. Looking for someone honest and genuine. No games, no drama, just truth. Armin reread the line twice. It felt like she was speaking directly to him. Heart thudding, he clicked message. "Hi Aisha. I don't usually do this, but your profile felt real. I'm Armin, an engineering student in Germany. If you'd like to talk, I'd be glad." He hovered for 10 seconds before pressing send. Immediately, regret kicked in. What was that? Too formal? Too awkward? He shut his laptop halfway, debating whether to delete his account entirely, when a ping startled him. Aisha had replied, "Hi Armin. Thank you for writing. I rarely get messages that feel sincere. I'm studying software engineering, and honestly, it's tough, especially being a woman in tech here. Happy to chat." Armin blinked. She responded in minutes. He typed back faster than he had ever typed anything in his life. One message turned into two, two into 15. And before Armin realized, the two had fallen into an easy rhythm. Their conversations shifting from studies to dreams, from family expectations to the loneliness both felt but rarely admitted. Aisha told him about her mother, a schoolteacher working long hours, and her younger sister preparing for entrance exams. She talked about her pressure to excel, how she studied at night on the building's rooftop to escape noise at home. "You're the first person I can talk to without pretending," she wrote one night. "It feels strange, but good." Armin felt something warm take root in his chest. Night after night, their chats stretched into dawn. Photos followed, Aisha at her university gate, Aisha with her books spread across the terrace, Aisha cooking with her mother in a tiny kitchen. Each one felt like a window into her world. 2 weeks later, she sent a message that made Armin's breath hitch. "Sometimes I wish you were here, or that I was there. I've never met someone who understands me this quickly." Armin reread the message again. And again, something was forming. Something he wasn't prepared for but desperately wanted. That same night, Aisha asked Armin for something that would change their entire relationship, and he had no idea how dangerous that single request would become. Aisha's message sat unread for several minutes while Armin paced the length of his small room. His hands were damp, his heartbeat too loud in his ears. She had written, "Armin, can we do a voice call tonight? I want to hear you. I feel like texting isn't enough anymore." It was innocent, sweet even, but for Armin, it felt like stepping off a cliff. He reread the message, fingers trembling above the keyboard. "Sure, just give me 10 minutes. He hit send before he could overthink it again. The next 10 minutes were chaos. He changed shirts 3 times, brushed his hair, cleaned his desk even though she wouldn't see it, checked the lighting, then checked it again. When the clock struck 11 p.m., his phone buzzed. Incoming voice call from Aisha. He swallowed hard and answered. "Armin." Her voice was soft, higher than he expected, with an accent that sounded almost musical. There was a faint echo of night sounds behind her, maybe crickets, maybe the hum of the city. "Aisha." "Hi." His own voice cracked, betraying his nerves. She laughed gently. "You sound exactly like I imagined. Quiet, but warm." Armin felt heat rush up his neck. I hope that's good. It is, she said. Very good. They talked about their classes, their families, the pressure of engineering life. Aisha spoke about her mother's long commutes and her sister's sleepless nights before exams. Armin talked about balancing work at the campus tech lab with his coursework and how he often felt too ordinary to stand out. I don't think you're ordinary, she said. Not at all. She told him about thunderstorms in Pune, about the tiny tea stall near her university that made the best masala chai, about the neighbor's baby who cried every morning at dawn. Armin listened, picturing every detail like scenes from a film. At one point, she went quiet. Aisha, did the call drop? No, she whispered. I'm just thinking about something. What is it? You're very easy to talk to. I don't feel that with people here. I don't know why, but I feel safe with you, Armin. The words hit him like a warm wave. Nobody had ever said anything like that to him before. He sat down slowly, letting the sentence sink inside him. Before they hung up, Aisha's voice softened further. Can we maybe do a video call sometime? Only if you're comfortable. I just want to see you. Armin agreed instantly, too instantly, and after the call ended, he sat staring at the ceiling, replaying her laughter in his head. He had never felt this drawn to someone, never this connected. It was terrifying and thrilling. The next evening, she messaged again. Tomorrow, video. I'll be on the terrace at 10 p.m. my time. Armin spent the entire next day distracted. In lectures, he caught himself checking the clock every 5 minutes. In the lab, he nearly burned a circuit board because his thoughts kept drifting to Aisha's voice. By the time evening arrived, he was pacing, waiting for the call. At 10:30 p.m. his time, the screen lit up. Incoming video call from Aisha. He took a breath and accepted. Aisha appeared, framed by dim rooftop lights, hair tied up, wind brushing against her face. She smiled, shy and radiant. Hi, Armin. He felt his chest tighten. She was real. They talked for hours, far longer than planned. She showed him the night sky above her, the faint city lights, the small potted plants she kept. She introduced him briefly, almost hurriedly, to her younger sister, who waved before disappearing quickly off-screen. Little things, simple things, yet they stitched themselves into Armin's heart. Before the call ended, Aisha hesitated. Armin, can I tell you something? Of course. I think about you when I wake up, and when I go to bed. I don't know what's happening to me. Armin froze, because he felt the exact same thing. The next week, Aisha would reveal a secret about her family, a secret that would pull Armin deeper into her life and closer to the trap waiting ahead. Armin's days began to orbit around Aisha. Mornings started with her messages, blurry photos of her rooftop sunrise or her coffee mug with a scribbled note. Good morning, Armin. Nights stretched into long calls, their conversations weaving themselves into the fabric of his routine. He didn't notice how easily he shifted his life to match hers. One evening, she didn't respond to his texts for nearly 4 hours. It wasn't like her. She usually replied within minutes. Armin kept checking his phone, refreshing the chat, pacing the narrow room. When the call finally came, her voice was shaky, softer than usual. Armin, can we talk with video? Of course. The moment her face appeared, he knew something was wrong. Aisha wasn't on the terrace. She was inside a dim room, her eyes red, her hair messy as if she'd been pulling at it. Behind her, the sound of a ceiling fan droned monotonously. Are you okay? Armin asked immediately. She swallowed hard. Something happened at home. Armin leaned closer to the screen. What's going on? She hesitated for a long moment before speaking. It's my mother. What about her? She collapsed today. At work. Aisha's voice cracked. They rushed her to a clinic nearby. The doctor said she's been ignoring her blood pressure for too long. It's serious. Armin's stomach nodded. Oh God. Aisha, I'm so sorry. Was she alone? Aisha shook her head. A colleague found her. But Armin, we didn't know how bad it was. She needs tests, medication, monitoring, and her voice faltered. The costs are more than we expected. She looked away from the camera, wiping tears with the back of her hand. My sister is panicking and I just don't know what to do. Armin felt a wave of helplessness wash over him. Have you talked to any relatives? Aisha let out a bitter laugh. Relatives? They barely call. My father died 3 years ago, Armin. No one really cares about us. It's just me, my mother, and my sister. The mention of her father startled him. She had never told him this. Aisha, why didn't you ever say? Because I don't like talking about it. She took a shaky breath. My mother worked 2 jobs after he died. She never complains, never asks for help. And now this. Armin wished he could reach through the screen and hold her. I'm so sorry. I don't know how to help, but I'm here. You're not alone. She looked at him then, really looked at him. Eyes full of fear, exhaustion, and something softer. Armin, you're the only person I can talk to about this. I feel like you're the only one who genuinely cares. He swallowed, feeling warmth swell in his chest and guilt for not being able to do more. What did the doctors say? He asked gently. Aisha glanced down, avoiding the camera. They said she needs a series of tests and medication over the next few weeks. Blood panels, scans, and a full cardiac evaluation. Her voice quivered. It's expensive. Armin nodded slowly. I understand. But then she added quietly, I wasn't going to tell you. I didn't want you to think I was bringing problems into your life. You should tell me, Armin said firmly. I care about you. Whatever you're going through, I'm with you. Aisha exhaled shakily. That means more than you know. The call went quiet for a moment. Only the hum of her ceiling fan filling the space. Finally, she whispered, I'm scared, Armin. And for the first time, Armin felt something shift inside him. A sense of responsibility, a sense of being needed in a way he'd never experienced. He didn't know it yet, but this was the moment the hook sank deeper than ever. The next morning, Aisha would call again, and this time, what she asked would push Armin into a decision that would alter the course of everything that followed. The next morning, Armin awoke to a string of missed calls from Aisha. 3 in total. His heart sank. She never called this early unless something was really wrong. He sat up quickly, fumbling for his phone. A new message appeared. Armin, it's urgent. Please call me when you wake up. He didn't waste a second. Aisha answered almost immediately. She wasn't crying this time. She looked drained, exhausted in a way he hadn't seen before. Dark circles shadowed her eyes, and she sat in a cramped clinic waiting area, the harsh fluorescent lights making everything look cold and unforgiving. Aisha, how's your mother? What happened? Aisha inhaled shakily. They're keeping her for observation. The doctor says her blood pressure is dangerously unstable. They want to run more tests today. That's good, Armin said. At least she's getting care. Aisha pressed her lips together. Armin, they won't start anything until we pay the initial deposit. Armin's breath caught. How much is it? She hesitated. It's about 96,000 rupees. I know that sounds big, but here, that covers the tests and first round of medication. Armin did the conversion quickly. Roughly 1,000 euros. His stomach twisted. I tried calling relatives, she continued. But everyone has excuses. My aunt said she'd pray for us. My uncle promised to check his finances next week. Her voice cracked with frustration. Next week? What about today? What about now? Armin watched her swipe a tear angrily from her cheek. Aisha, I'm so sorry. You shouldn't be going through this alone. I'm trying to stay strong, she whispered. But I feel like I'm drowning. My mother keeps apologizing from the hospital bed, Armin. She keeps saying she's become a burden. Can you imagine? After everything she's done for us. A tight ache filled Armin's chest. He wanted to reach into the screen and pull her out of this nightmare. Aisha, he said softly. Maybe there's a solution. She raised her eyes to him. Hopeful, fragile, afraid to speak. I'll figure something out, Armin continued. I don't have a lot saved, but I can check my account. Maybe I can help until you get things settled. Her eyes widened. Armin, no. I can't let you do that. He shook his head. You're not letting me. I'm offering. But it's too much, she whispered. I don't want you to think. Her voice trailed off, trembling. That you're using me? Armin finished quietly. I don't think that. Aisha covered her face with her hands for a moment. When she looked back up, her eyes were glistening. You're the only person who's shown up for me, she murmured. I didn't want to ask you because I don't want to lose you. You won't lose me, Armin said, surprising himself with his own conviction. She let out a shaky breath. The clinic said if we pay today, they'll start treatment immediately. If not, they'll discharge her. Armin felt something inside him tighten, an instinctive, protective pull he couldn't ignore. Send me the details, he said. I'll go to the bank after my class. Aisha froze. Armin, are you sure? He nodded. Your mother needs help, and you matter to me. I won't let you go through this alone. Aisha covered her mouth as tears streamed down her cheeks. But this time They weren't from fear. They were from relief. "Thank you," she whispered, voice breaking. "You don't know what this means to me. I don't know how I'll ever repay you." Armin smiled faintly. "You don't have to repay me." They ended the call with Aisha promising to send her details immediately. Armin sat still for a long moment afterward, staring at his reflection in the blank phone screen. Something felt heavy, unsettling, yet he pushed the thought away. Helping her was the right thing. The only thing. He stood, grabbed his jacket, and headed out into the gray Stuttgart morning. Unaware he had just taken his first irreversible step deeper into something far darker. Later that week, Aisha's mother's condition would take a sudden turn, and with it, the demands placed on Armin's heart and wallet would escalate in ways he never expected. Armin's transfer went through that afternoon. He sent Aisha a screenshot of the confirmation before heading to his lab class, forcing himself to focus even though his mind buzzed with worry. Aisha replied minutes later. "Armin, they admitted her. They've started tests. You saved her. I don't know how to thank you." The relief in her words washed over him like warm light. For the rest of the evening, he felt strangely proud, needed, connected to something bigger than himself. But the high didn't last long. 3 days later, while Armin was organizing cables in the robotics lab, his phone buzzed with a video call request. Aisha. She was standing outside the clinic, eyes puffy, hair hastily tied back. Her sister hovered behind her, looking equally distressed. "Armin," the results came in. His stomach tightened. "What did the doctors say?" Aisha took a shaky breath. "They found irregularities. Her heart rhythm isn't stable. They want to start a treatment plan. Medication, monitoring, follow-up tests." She chewed her lip, hesitant. "And it's not covered in the initial deposit." Armin exhaled slowly. "How much more?" "It's about 40,000 rupees for the next stage," she said. "Around 450 euros. A smaller amount. Manageable." But Armin's savings were thinning. "I tried negotiating," Aisha continued. "I begged the doctor to give us more time. But he said if we delay treatment, the risk increases." Her sister stepped into the frame. "Bia, please don't think we're trying to burden you. We don't know what else to do." Armin was caught off guard. "Bia, brother." The word carried a weight of trust. It disarmed him. "I'll help," he said quietly. Aisha blinked, stunned. "Armin, you've done enough. Too much, even. I feel guilty asking. I swear I didn't want to." "I know," he cut in gently. "Just tell me where to send it." Her voice shook. "You're unreal. I don't know what I did to deserve you." That evening, Armin transferred the additional amount. He told himself it was temporary. He told himself he'd stop once she was safe. He didn't notice the pattern forming. Not yet. Over the next week, Aisha kept him updated with photos of her mother resting, short video clips of the clinic hallways, and messages expressing endless gratitude. Armin clung to the updates. They reassured him, kept him invested, made him believe he was doing the right thing. But then came another message. "Armin, they're discharging her early. We can't afford the extended stay, but they want her back in 2 weeks for another scan. I'm scared she'll collapse again." Armin rubbed his forehead. "Is there no insurance?" "Nothing at all. In India, health insurance barely covers anything unless you have expensive private plans," she said. "And my mother always prioritized our education over her health." Armin felt a pang of sympathy. It sounded believable. Every part of it. "How much is the next scan?" he asked. 27,000 rupees, she whispered. "But Armin, I'll figure it out. You've helped enough. I'll take a loan from somewhere. I'll pawn something if I have to." Armin sighed. "Aisha, don't do that. I'll help. I'm already involved. Your family feels like mine, too." Her eyes softened in the way that always melted him. "You don't know what you mean to me. I feel like fate brought you into my life." Armin's pulse quickened. Fate. The word wrapped itself around his heart. He sent the money that night. But 2 days later, Aisha's tone changed. She sounded tired, panicked. "Armin, something else happened. Something bad." His chest tightened. "What now?" Aisha hesitated, voice trembling. "The clinic wants proof of financial stability for my mother's long-term treatment. They need a guarantor. And Armin, they're asking if someone, maybe you, can provide a temporary financial letter." Armin froze. A letter. In his name. Something he couldn't easily undo. Aisha's next request wouldn't just strain Armin's finances. It would pull him into a moral and legal crossroads that would threaten everything he had left. Armin sat at the edge of his bed, Aisha's message replaying in his mind. A financial guarantor? In his name? He rubbed his temples, trying to make sense of it. He called her immediately. Aisha answered almost at once. She wasn't crying, but the tension in her expression was unmistakable. She was sitting on her building's stairwell, hugging her knees, voice trembling slightly. Armin, I didn't want to ask you. I really didn't. But the doctor said my mother's condition could worsen if she doesn't have consistent follow-up treatment. Armin swallowed. I understand the seriousness. But Aisha, a guarantor letter? That's the official. I know, she whispered. I'm terrified. I don't want to put you in a difficult position. He could hear the catch in her voice, a blend of fear, guilt, and something like resignation. What exactly would they need? Armin asked. Aisha exhaled shakily. Just a basic statement saying there's someone supporting my mother's treatment for the next few months. It's temporary. They won't ask for money directly. It's more like security for them. Would it affect my bank account? He asked quietly. No, she said quickly. It's not a legal contract, just a letter. The clinic uses it for internal purposes to ensure that patients don't skip follow-ups. Her voice softened. Armin, if there was anyone else I could ask, I would. But I don't have anyone. Armin stared at his floor. A letter. His name. Her mother's life. He felt pulled between logic and emotion was winning. Aisha, he said finally, if I write this letter, will it actually help her? Aisha nodded, tears forming. Yes. They'll start her long-term regimen immediately. She needs it, Armin. You're the only hope we have. There it was, the sentence that always broke him. You're the only hope. He took a long breath. All right, I'll do it. Aisha's relief was immediate. Her shoulders slumped, her eyes softened, and she let out a shuddering breath. Armin, thank you. Thank you. I don't know how to express what you mean to me. She paused, voice cracking. Sometimes I feel like you're the only person on this planet who actually sees me. Her words hit him like a pulse of warmth. That night, Armin typed the letter. A simple, 2-paragraph statement saying he would support Aisha's mother's medical expenses temporarily. No signatures, no legal terms, just words. He sent the PDF. She responded instantly. You're my blessing, Armin. Truly. For a moment, he felt like a hero, like someone who mattered, like someone with purpose. But that feeling shattered the next afternoon. Aisha called again, visibly distressed. Armin, the clinic accepted the letter, but they want confirmation of a small payment to finalize the treatment plan. It's just an initial installment. The rest they'll allow in parts. Armin's heart sank. Another payment. Aisha nodded helplessly. I'm so embarrassed. They wouldn't have asked if they didn't think it was necessary. How much? He asked, bracing himself. 32,000 rupees, she whispered. About 350 euros. Armin leaned back against his chair, exhaling sharply. His savings were already thin. His credit card was nearly maxed. His part-time job barely covered rent and utilities. Aisha, I don't know if I can anymore. Her face instantly crumpled. I understand. I knew this day would come. I just hoped maybe we'd have a little more time before everything fell apart. Her voice broke, quietly, painfully. I can't lose my mother, Armin. I can't. I'll figure something out. Maybe I'll drop out of university and work full-time. My sister is too young. I'll manage. Don't worry. You've done enough. The guilt hit him like a punch. Armin closed his eyes. I'll send it, he whispered. Aisha sobbed, not loud, but with the kind of relief that bent his will completely. You don't know how much this means, she said. I care about you more than I've cared about anyone. He sent the money that evening. And just like that, Armin crossed a line he could never uncross. Not financially, not emotionally, not psychologically. But the next crisis wouldn't come from Aisha. It would come from Armin's real life in Stuttgart, where someone finally noticed the unusual pattern of withdrawals and began asking dangerous questions. Armin was reorganizing cables in the campus tech lab when he heard a voice behind him. Armin, got a second? It was Lucas, his supervisor, calm, observant, the kind of person who noticed everything others missed. Armin followed him into the office. Lucas closed the door and placed a printed sheet on the desk. There's a small issue, he said gently. We're missing 150 euros from the lab's supply float. According to the logs, you accessed it last. Armin's stomach dropped. He hadn't stolen anything, but he had made a rushed withdrawal days ago and must have entered the wrong category. Lucas mistook it for missing funds. You've been distracted lately, Lucas continued. You're tired, inconsistent, late to shifts. This isn't like you. Armin looked down, words stuck in his throat. If something is going on, Lucas added, softer now, you can talk to me. Stress makes people vulnerable. You don't have to deal with everything alone. That word again, vulnerable. It clung to him even after he left. That night, Armin needed comfort. Peace. Something familiar. So he video called Aisha. She answered immediately. She looked fragile, dark circles under her eyes, voice barely steady. Armin, today was terrible, she whispered. Mama fainted again. The doctor says she needs round-the-clock monitoring until her medication stabilizes. Armin's chest clenched. Is she stable now? They revived her, Aisha said. But they want to enroll her in a monitoring program. It's expensive. I don't know how to manage it. He had already given so much. His savings were nearly gone. His job was shaky. But the fear in her eyes made him feel responsible, necessary. How much? He asked quietly. Aisha hesitated. 50,000 rupees, around 550 euros. Armin, please don't feel pressured. I hate that I even have to ask. I'm just desperate. Her voice cracked, trembling with exhaustion and guilt. And that was enough. Aisha, I'll figure it out, he said softly. Relief washed over her face, the kind of relief that made him feel like a lifeline. Like walking away wasn't an option anymore. Even though, deep inside, something was starting to feel wrong. But the next morning, someone far closer than Lucas would confront Armin. And this time, he wouldn't be able to hide a single thing. Armin woke up to his phone buzzing repeatedly on the nightstand. He groaned, rubbed his eyes, and reached for it, expecting Aisha. But the caller ID wasn't hers. Mama. A knot tightened in his stomach. He answered. Mama? What's wrong? Her voice was steady, but there was a sharp edge beneath it. Armin, I need to talk to you. Right now. His pulse quickened. Is everything okay? No, she said. Not with you. Armin sat up straighter. I've been getting notifications, she continued. From your emergency fund account. You linked it to my number when you first opened it. Do you remember? He closed his eyes. He did. And he'd forgotten. You've drained your savings, Gabrielle said, her voice trembling now. You took a loan. Multiple transfers, all to someone named Aisha Varma. Armin, what is happening? Armin's throat tightened. Mama, please. I'm helping someone. She is scamming you. Gabrielle interrupted, the words sharp with fear. I looked it up. This is a known pattern. The medical emergency. The emotional bond. The sudden payments. Armin, this is textbook. No. Armin snapped, louder than he intended. You don't know her. We talk every day. I've seen her family. I've seen her. They use pre-recorded video, she said softly. Actors. Teams. Scripts. You are not the first victim. Armin felt his heart pounding. Mama, stop. I'm begging you, she whispered. Please listen. You're stressed, isolated, vulnerable. These people hunt for hearts like yours. Armin felt something crack, something fragile and deeply personal. Mama, I care about her. Gabrielle's voice broke. That's exactly why they chose you. He couldn't take it. Couldn't listen to her tear apart the one connection that kept him going. I have to go, he said abruptly. Armin, please. He hung up. His phone slipped from his hand. He sat in silence, guilt mixing with anger, fear mixing with love, everything twisting inside him. Then a message popped up. From Aisha. Armin, please pick up, something terrible happened. His chest pulled tight. He called her. Aisha appeared on screen, her face streaked with tears. Armin, Mama's condition dropped again. She needs stronger medication tonight. The doctor said if she doesn't get it, she swallowed. It could be fatal. How much? Armin whispered. 63,000 rupees. Armin's world spun. He had nothing left. Except one option. The predatory loan kiosk he swore he'd never use. I'll get it, he said quietly. Aisha broke down in relief. Armin, thank you. You're saving her life. But Armin didn't feel heroic. He felt trapped. And before he could send the money, something, or someone, would rip the truth open completely. Armin stood in front of the glowing loan kiosk, cold air brushing against his face. The screen displayed the amount he'd requested. 700 euros. Money he didn't have. Money he'd spend months paying back. But Aisha's trembling voice echoed in his mind. If she doesn't get the medication tonight, it could be fatal. He pressed confirm. A printed voucher slid out. He grabbed it with shaking hands and headed straight toward the 24-hour transfer counter. His phone buzzed nonstop. Aisha, are you okay? Armin, please hurry. I'm outside the clinic waiting. His heart hammered. He wanted all of this to be over. For her, for himself, for everything. As he filled out the transfer form, his phone vibrated again. He expected Aisha, but it was Lucas. Then Mama. Both messages started with the same words. Armin, stop. He ignored them. Then an unknown German number called. He declined it. It called again. He declined harder. A text followed. This is Detective Kruger. Your number is connected to an ongoing cybercrime investigation. Pick up. Armin's blood ran cold. The phone rang again. He answered. Armin Keller? Yes. I'm Detective Kruger with Stuttgart Cybercrime. We need to speak urgently. Are you in contact with someone named Aisha Varma? Armin froze. Why? We've been tracking a romance fraud network operating out of Pune. Multiple victims reported identical conversations. Same emergencies. Same medical stories. No, Armin whispered. Aisha is real. She video calls me. I've met her family. They use deep fakes, Kruger said calmly. Pre-recorded clips. Staged footage. It's extremely convincing. Armin felt his world tilt. We traced the number, the detective continued. It's registered to a man. Not a woman. Not a family. His chest tightened painfully. The clerk returned. Sir, the system's ready. Will you be sending the transfer? Armin looked at the form, at the name he thought he loved, and felt something inside him break. Slowly, he tore the paper in half. No, he whispered. Not anymore. But walking away from the scam was only the beginning. Armin still had to face the damage, the consequences, and the truth about what this experience had done to him. Armin stepped out of the transfer center into the cold night air. For the first time in weeks, his phone wasn't buzzing. No calls. No messages. Just silence. The kind that felt both terrifying and strangely freeing. He walked slowly, the detective's words echoing in his mind. Deep fakes, staged footage, a man behind the number, multiple victims. Everything he believed, every tear, every comforting message, every desperate plea had been engineered. Not by someone who loved him, not even by Aisha, but by a network that saw him as nothing more than a target. Back in his room, Armin sat on the edge of his bed, staring at his phone. A message popped up. Aisha. Armin, are you sending it? Please answer. For a moment, his heart reacted, the way it always did. That old instinct to protect her, to fix things, to be her only hope. But he saw the truth now. With steady hands, he opened the settings. Blocked. Deleted. Gone. Silence again. The next morning, he met Lucas in the lab. Armin expected anger, disappointment, maybe even disciplinary action. Instead, Lucas sighed and said, You're not the first student to fall for something like this. And you won't be the last. What matters is you stopped. No judgment. Just quiet understanding. Later, he called his mother. Gabrielle answered instantly. Armin, she breathed out, voice trembling. Are you okay? He almost broke down at the sound of her relief. I'm not okay, he admitted. But I'm trying. She didn't say, I told you so. She didn't lecture. She only said, We'll fix this. Together. And for the first time in a long while, Armin believed her. The following weeks were hard. He reported everything to cybercrime. He sent screenshots, bank statements, call logs. Detective Kruger assured him the ring was active but under investigation. He wasn't alone. Armin set up repayment plans, picked up extra hours at work, rebuilt the trust he'd nearly broken with his supervisor and his mother. Healing wasn't linear. Some nights he replayed Aisha's words and felt foolish. Other nights he felt angry, not at her, but at himself for ignoring the signs. But slowly, the weight lifted. He learned that scammers don't prey on weakness. They prey on kindness, on people who care deeply. Armin wasn't naive. He wasn't stupid. He wasn't broken. He was human, and he was going to be okay.